Leviticus 19 and 29. Yasharallah. It says, do not prostitute thy daughter to cause her to be a whore. He would say, do not prostitute thy daughter to cause her to be a whore, lest the land fall to whoredom. You see? Don't be using the daughters of Zion to cause them to be a whore, lest the land fall into whoredom and the land become full of wickedness. You hear that? So it's wicked. He let you know it's wicked. To be a prostitute, be a whore, that's wickedness. Cause the land to be full of wickedness. And the Most High spewed us out of the land because of these acts. That's why do you think he got to bring it to us? Because this is what Israel was doing then, and they're doing it now. Why? It has to be brought out because this is written for us. It was written for us. Okay, let's get an example. Go to my big brother, King David. Go to 2 Samuel, the 12th chapter. Let me tell you the story. Now, it's two men. King David, rich, got big time money. He's the king over all 12 tribes of Israel. Put all nations in subjected to we as the Israelites. Fought 40 years. Rich. Got it going on. So he was on top of the rooftop and he looked out and he seen Bathsheba. Right? Seen Bathsheba taking a bath. He looked upon her nakedness. And you look at nowadays, the way women dress and so forth, ain't nothing that you got to imagine. See their whole shape. But he seen her naked. Ain't no imagination because you can look at them, they pretty much showing everything that they have for the attention or whatever it is they're going to do for their whoredom. And he looked out and seen her, called her into her. Now this is Uriah's wife. One of his soldiers, the Hittite. But faithful to King David. He had sex with her. Sent her back home. Come to find out she was pregnant. She got pregnant. So she came and told King David, Bathsheba, Uriah's wife, that was adultery that he committed. She came and told him, I'm pregnant. So he said, okay, go back home. She went back home. So he called his main man in, Joab, told him, hey, when they came back from fighting the war, first he called Uriah, her husband, in and told him to go home to his wife. Check out this plot now. He already knows she's pregnant. And he told Uriah to go home to his wife. So check it out. If Uriah went home to his wife and laid with Bathsheba, then that baby could have been his. In the world's mind, right? But he didn't go home. He stayed with the men of war, the soldiers. So David said, Joab, come here. Put Uriah on the front line when you're going out there in the war. Put him in the front. And then pull back. Then you're going to die. And that's what Joab did. And Uriah died. So now, he committed adultery and also committed what? Murder. because he had him put to death. A plot to put him to death. And law says once a man is dead, then the woman can be married to someone else. You see? So, this all, like I say, it's all in the makings of wickedness. We done seen what adultery brings, death, right? So, this is very important. Because a story going to be told to King David. And we're going to go to 2 Samuel, so you know this story. I'll give you the story. You can read about it in 2 Samuel 11th chapter. I just gave you a synopsis of what it's talking about. So when we go to 2 Samuel 12:1, you got a man that have a lot of money, and you got a poor man. You're right. You say, so 2 Samuel 12:1, it say, and the Most High sent Nathan unto David, and he came unto him after David had Uriah killed. Now let's go up to 2 Samuel 11:26. And when the wife of Uriah heard, this Bathsheba, heard that Uriah, her husband, was dead, she mourned for her husband. When she found out he got killed, she mourned for her husband. And when the mourning was past, David sent and fetched her to his house. And she became his wife. See? She became his wife. And bare him a son. But the thing that David had done displeased the Most High. Like I said, he committed adultery and he committed murder. Premeditated murder. So that displeased the Most High. So going to 2 Samuel 12:1. And the Most High sent Nathan unto David, the prophet. And he came unto him and said unto him, there were two men, listen to the story. There were two men in one city, the one rich and the other poor. The rich man had exceeding many flocks and herds. He had a lot of money. Your flocks and herds at this time meaning you had a lot of money, or someone that has money now. But the poor man had nothing, save one little ewe lamb. That was Bathsheba. He had this one little ewe lamb, which he had brought and nourished her up, and it grew up together with him and with his children. So she had children by him too. It did eat of his own meat and drank of his own cup and lay in his bosom and was unto him as a daughter. He loved her as a daughter. She could have been older than her. He loved her as his own daughter. And there came a traveler unto the rich man, and he spared to take his own flock and of his own herd to dress for the wayfaring man that was come unto him, but took the poor man's lamb and dressed it for the man that was come to him. So instead of taking one of his sheep from his flock, he took the poor man's lamb. To the man that had come, wayfaring man that had come and visited. And David's anger was greatly kindled against the man. He hearing the story. He got angry. Remember how Judah got angry? Now here David's getting there. He's from Judah. And David's anger was greatly kindled against the man. And he said to Nathan, as the Most High liveth, the man that have done this thing shall surely die. Hear that? Is that what Judah said? Hey, tomorrow burn her. We got to burn her. We got to kill her. Same thing David said. The man that done this shall surely die. And And he shall restore the lamb fourfold. Fourfold. So the one gonna be four. Because he did this thing and because he had no pity. See, he had no pity. And this is what people of the world would do because that's what's being promoted. That's why I say you adulteresses and you adulterers and you adulteresses. No, you're not that. The friendship of the world is enmity with the Most High. They put you at war with the Most High. And like I said, it's a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living power. But if you think you can box with the Most High, you ready to fight the Most High, we're going to see. Who will win, you or him? As it is written. You say you're supposed to pay him back fourfold because he did this thing and because he had no pity. Had no pity. And Nathan said to David, thou art the man. You the man, David. Thus say the Most High power of Israel. So who's speaking? The Most High power of Israel. I ask this question all the time. Thus said the Most High power of Israel. This was the Most High saying. Understand this, overstand this. Say, I anointed thee king over Israel. Which he did, right after our first king Saul. And I, who's the I? The Most High. Power of Israel. The power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He said, this is my name forever, the memorial to all generations. Exodus 3:15 and 16. And I delivered thee out of the hand of Saul. See what he said? The Most High delivered David out of the hands of Saul. Saul threw two javelins at him. And he was always chasing him, trying to get him, because he was jealous of him. Listen to what it says in verse 8. And I gave thee thy master's house when Saul was gone. So I gave you, and I, who's the I? The Most High. So all you got a problem with this, you got to take it up with the Most High. This is very important. It said, and I, who is the Most High, gave thee thy master's house, your master's house, Saul's house, and what else? And thy master's wives into thy bosom. You know? So the Most High did this. David already had wives from Hebron and Jerusalem. He already had wives. But the Most High said, I gave thee thy master's wives. That's plural. Into thy bosom. That's Saul's wives into David's bosom. And gave thee the house of Israel. Gave you the house of Israel and Judah. The northern tribes, 9.5 tribes, and the southern tribes. You see? And if that had been too little, listen to what he's saying. If that had been too little, I done gave you the 12 tribes of Israel, and I gave you Saul's wives in his house. He said, if that had been too little, I would moreover have given thee unto thee such and such things. I'd have gave you more than what it is that you have received from me. If you thought that was too little. Wherefore hast thou despised the commandment of the Most High, to do evil in his sight? Say, why you despise the commandment of the Most High, to do evil in his sight? He committed adultery and murder. Premeditated murder. He said, wherefore hast thou despised the commandment of the Most High, to do evil in his sight? This King David. We ain't talking about no one that's, rolling around here thinking they all this and that, whatever. Just the king. He said, wherefore hast thou despised the commandment of the Most High, to do evil in his sight? Thou hast killed Uriah the Hittite with the sword. Murdered him. Premeditated murder. And hast taken his wife to be thy wife. Right now, Bathsheba his wife. King David's wife. And hast slain him with the sword of the children of Ammon in the war. Told Joab to have the men to pull back so he can die. Now therefore the sword shall never depart from thine house. You hear that? You hear that, Judites? Said the sword ain't gonna never depart from my house, because thou hast despised me. Now you think you're gonna do whatever you do and the Most High is pleased with you when you're showing that you despise the Most High and we sinning? You can't do that. He said, now therefore the sword shall never depart from thine house. And the house is family. Because thou hast despised me and hast taken the wife of Uriah the Hittite to be thy wife. Ooh. Committed adultery, had the man premeditated murder, had him put to death, and then called her to him to be his wife. Thus said the Most High, behold, I will raise up evil against thee out of thine own house. I'm going to raise evil up against you out of your own house, your own family. Remember, he's a Judite, of the tribe of Judah, Jacob's fourth-born son. He's coming from that lineage. And I will take thy wives. He would say, I will take thy wives. And you know, he had more than one. Remember, the Most High gave him Saul's wives, even though he had wives from Hebron and Jerusalem. So I'm going to take your wives before thine eyes. So I'm going to take your wives before your eyes and give them unto thy neighbor. And give your wives to thy neighbor. And he shall lie with thy wives in the sight of this sun. So I'm going to take your wives and give them to your neighbor, and he's going to lie with your wives. You're going to have sex with your wives before the sun, in the light. But thou did it secretly. So you did what you did secretly. Nighttime, he on the roof, looking over the roof, seeing Bathsheba taking a bath. Nobody told his man to go get her. Laid with her, she got pregnant. Knowing she got pregnant, Uriah came from fighting in the war. Told him to go home to his wife. Figuring that he would lay with her. And it would be his baby. Knowing she was already pregnant. She had already told him she was pregnant. He didn't. So he had him put on the front line. Premeditated murder. So he said, I'm going to have your wives sleep with another man. Or with other men. Because he said, I will take thy wives before thine eyes. David had to see this. And give them unto thy neighbor. And he shall lie with thy wives in the sight of the sun. For thou didst it in secret. You did this secretly. But I will do this thing before all Israel and before the sun. So everybody knew that this went down like this. Because he put it into the light. You see? Why you look at see, people don't really, I guess they don't really think about enough, I guess, concerning what we're dealing with and dealing with the Most High, because it's very, very important that we see this. Ecclesiasticus 23:19. Such a man only feareth the eyes of men. And nobody tell the Most High. They didn't have to tell the Most High what David did. Listen. Such a man only feareth the eyes of men. That's why he did it secretly. And people do things secretly, and they think the Most High don't see them. Listen to this. Such a man only feareth the eyes of men, and knoweth not that the eyes of the Most High are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, beholding all the ways of men, and considering the most secret parts. See? Considering the most secret parts, the things that he thought he was doing in secret, the Most High considered the most secret parts. See? He knew all things ere ever they were created. So also after they were perfected, he looked upon them all. So now, let you know. So once the Most High see the secret things, as we're going to look at, Nathan is coming to King David. Nathan didn't see what went down, did he? No. But it tells you the Most High in Amos 3:7, He see you in the secret things that you do. Why he said, you did this in secret, David, but I'm going to have your neighbor sleep with your wives, and everybody going to see it under the sun. So once the Most High see the secret things, then Amos 3:7 says, surely the Most High will do nothing, but he revealeth his secret unto his servants, the prophets. You see? He revealeth his secrets unto the servants, the prophets. And these are the things that we have to look at to be able to understand, like, wow, how's that? How do you know this? How did that happen? Job 33:14. How does he do that? For the Most High speaking once, yet twice, yet man perceive it not. That's why you got to listen to your first mind. He'll be speaking to you. He might come back again. He said, but man perceive it not. That's why when you look at this, when the Most High speaks once, you got to hear him. He speaks twice, he confirms it. But man perceive it not. In a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falleth upon men, and slumbers upon this bed. Then he openeth the ears of men, and sealeth their instruction. Like you ask for guidance. I do. I ask for instruction. I ask for wisdom. And he sealeth our ears to hear when you sleep, or bringing forth a vision. Then he openeth the ears of men and sealeth their instruction, that he may withdraw man from his purpose. You might want to go some other way, or think some other way, and hide pride from man. So he humble you. When you hear his direction, you hear his instruction, his guidance, and that's how he does. That's why Nathan came to David with the secrets of the Most High that he's seen. Then, now, and forever. Listen. 2 Samuel 12:13. And David said unto Nathan, I have sinned against the Most High. And Nathan said unto David, the Most High also hath put away thy sin. Thou shalt not die. So we read at least for what he did in adultery the first time. It said they shall be both put to death. The man and the woman supposed to be put to death. That's the law. He said, thou shalt not die. Howbeit, verse 14, because by thy deed thou hast given great occasion of the enemies of the Most High to blaspheme, the child also that is born unto thee shall surely die. Hear that? This child that was conceived in Bathsheba's womb, he said, shall surely die. And Nathan departed unto his house. And the Most High struck the child that Uriah's wife, still identifying her as Uriah's wife, even it told us in 2 Samuel 11:27, and when the morning was past, David sent and fetched her to his house, Bathsheba, Uriah's wife, and she became his wife, and bare him a son. But the thing that David had done displeased the Most High. Now, verse 15 of 2 Samuel the 12th chapter. Pay attention. And Nathan departed unto his house. He went home. And the Most High struck the child that Uriah's wife bare unto David, and it was very sick. See? And the Most High, he killed his firstborn. But you know what's really serious and why we can't look at the Most High ways and thoughts or our ways and thoughts? Because after all this that went down, who came next? King Solomon. The Most High loved him. He loved King Solomon. And this is, we know how David got together with Bathsheba. You can read the story for yourself. Don't just take my word for it. Look at Acts 13. And we're going to read verse 22, pertaining to King David. Acts the 13th chapter, verse 22. And when he had removed him, meaning King Saul, our first king, he raised up unto them David to be their king, who we've been talking about, King David. To whom also he gave testimony and said, I have found David, the son of Jesse, a man after mine own heart, after his own mind, after the Most High's own mind, which shall fulfill all my will. Of this man's seed hath the Most High, according to his promise, raised unto Israel a Savior. Not everybody in the world. He could have said he had raised up to all nations in the world a Savior. But it says raised up unto Israel, the Israelites, a Savior, a Mashiach Yahushua. See, when John, who was John the Baptist, Mashiach Yahushua's cousin, had first preached before his coming, before Mashiach Yahushua coming, because he was older than Mashiach Yahushua, who the world calls Jesus Christ, the baptism of repentance to all the people of Israel. So John the Baptist was saying, repent, Israelites, Hebrew Israelites, not to anyone else, as it says, to all the people of Israel. See, so it's very important to look at our past, and that's why you look at, when you read the Psalms, David's singing Psalms, but he's always repenting. He's always, Krum Abanawa Yahweh, rise most high. Praise the Most High. He's praising the Most High. He's asking for forgiveness and so forth. And that's what we have to do. Cry to the Most High for the last times. The very last times. And hopefully he'll hear us. Look at Jeremiah, verse 29. So I say we have a lot of our story that we have to look at, and this is the last time it could be that we have opportunity to get it right, or the lake of fire is waiting on you, point blank. Jeremiah 29 and 22. And all of them shall be taken up, and of them shall be taken up accursed by the captivity of Judah, which are in Babylon, saying, the Most High make thee like Zedekiah and like Ahab, whom the king of Babylon roasted in the fire. Hear that? He say, we're going to be cursed like the Most High cursed Zedekiah and like Ahab, whom the king of Babylon roasted in the fire. Roasted him in the fire.